Well, happy holidays all. Welcome back on into VGMporium, video game music and more. And today's episode is definitely going to be a bit more on the and more side. But before we get into that, I'd like to say that this past Saturday was my birthday on the 17th, and I did my special episode 50 at that. And for that day, I actually went to Sacramento Gaming Expo, and I went there because a couple of my friends were doing like vendor tables there. They were selling their art. And I went there with my sister as well, and these two are actually kind of like unofficial siblings of ours. And eventually I will have them on this show. Just at this moment they were just too busy with having people coming up and buying their art and such. But while I was there, I actually got some interviews. So that's going to be I'm working on that one, and that's going to be next week's episode, and I got some really, really cool stuff. So, pretty excited for that. Now, aside from that, I'd like to give a big thank you shout out to both Martyrs of ReVGM, who actually did a presents episode for various podcasters, one of them being myself, and as well as Alex the Messenger, who hosts the VGM Journey podcast, where he did like a Secret Santa thing, and that was pretty cool to hear like what everybody gave everybody, and I was pretty pleased with what I got from both of these mighty fine fellows. So now getting into this. As we all know, it's going to be Christmas in a few days, so I brought you some tunes that'll help kind of get you in the mood. Starting with what we played in with, which was Thanks for Christmas, Sega Genesis Remix by rayjkayj, which is a remix of Thanks for Christmas by the band XTC. And this was done for the Signcraft Christmas compilation in 2021. And the funny thing on this one is that he and I are the only ones that actually submitted to the compilation for some reason. So and we both did Sega Genesis tracks. So isn't that a jolly coinkydink? So now you may have remembered the name rayjkayj from the episode Gigantomecha, where he actually suggested a track from Ranger X, and I told him I'd do this. After that, I'd feature one of their songs on here, and here it is. It's one of the remixes, but eventually I'll feature one of your original songs on here. So now a bit about rayjkayj is I've been kind of having some back and forth conversations with them on and off for the last year or so. I actually met them on Cafaraday's Signcraft Discord, and actually encountered by I sent out the request to people to request for me to beatbox stuff, and they requested that I do Ingen Rosin from Streets of Rage 3, and I did it, and it was a crazy time. And since then, we've kind of talked back and forth about, music and complimenting each other on our music. And the music that he does is is really cool. It's a lot of Sega Genesis stuff made using Ableton and some VSTs that emulate the Sega Genesis sound chips, as well as some just really cool, the term I know is left field electronic music, just kind of out of the norm. And like I said, buddy, eventually I'll have one of your original songs on here, and maybe even if you're up to it, have you on the show to just talk about video game music, whatever you like. So now about the song that they're covering, Thank You for Christmas. I'd never heard it before, so I just looked it up, and I don't really care for the original version. I actually like rayjkayj's version, probably maybe because it kind of sounds a little bit like Fantasy Zone's DX2 or Fantasy Zone 2 DX, some of the patches. So yeah, you got +1 on you, buddy. So with that, we're gonna move on to our next Christmas time track. So this one's another remix, but not of a Christmas song, but it is of a song that, the way how they remix it sounds Christmassy. It is called Merry Christmas or Merry Xmas 2013 by Hirokazu Hip Tanaka of the song Snowman's Theme by Hirokazu Hip Tanaka from Earthbound. And that there you just heard was Merry Xmas 2013, an arrangement of Snowman Theme by Hirokazu Hip Tanaka from Earthbound. And I actually got this off their SoundCloud account, Chip Tanaka / Acerola Beach. And so now this is kind of a cool thing, like it's an arrangement of a song by the composer of the original song. And so Snowman Theme originally is kind of like more of a wintry song. And so old Hip Tanaka here took it and turned it into a Christmassy song with those kind of like sleigh bells and a little bit of the arrangement and the way how it sounds. So now I don't feel like I really need to talk about Hirokazu Tanaka. I mean, most everybody should know about this guy, like being like kind of like the one of the composers for Nintendo for the longest time. Of course, Koji Kondo is kind of like the big name, the big mainstream name because of Mario, Zelda, all those big Nintendo games. But Hirokazu Tanaka, I think, is the more interesting of the two. I mean, he's like had his hand in like so many early Nintendo games before they had the NES, like when they were doing arcade games, like, starting off with like, Space Firebird and then doing Donkey Kong and then Mario Bros, the original Mario Bros, Popeye, like Hogan's Alley, Wrecking Crew, Balloon Fight, all that music is just phenomenal. And I'm not going to say it here, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack, but I actually honestly prefer the Super Mario Land soundtrack from the Game Boy over the Super Mario Bros on the NES by Koji Kondo, because it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot more interesting to me. But this is a rant for another day. Don't got time for that. We got to keep moving on to our next Christmas remix here. And this one is neither chiptune or kind of video gamey sounding, but the person that made did this cover, I really, really, really enjoy their music, and I've been wanting to get them on the podcast for the longest time, their music. And, hey, cool way to do it. This is Come Ye All Yeet, a remix of Come All Ye Faithful by F.O. Harkey. That was Come All Yeet, a remix of Come All Ye Faithful by F.O. Harkay, done for the AGDG Audio Dev Xmas Compo. And they kind of did a little psych out beginning with the Joy to the World tune there. But yes, I love this. I love this arrangement. I'm not really too much caring for Christmas music usually. I worked in retail and at a restaurant like Denny's for 5 years. And of course, every single year, from basically November to the end of December, Christmas music nonstop. So you can understand, I imagine anybody who's worked in any of those situations like retail or restaurant work knows this pain, this suffering of the Christmas music. But arrangements like this just make it all the more easier to ingest. So about F.O. Harkay, I discovered their music through their little EP called A Nice Place, and it's really good music. The piano, uses a lot of that piano sample that's in here in that. And just a lot of the sounds that are in this are in that. All his albums kind of have these same sounds, but the way how just the arrangements they do is just, I don't know, I just love it. It's I can listen to them just nonstop. The 3 albums, A Nice Place, Bridge, and Soul Chunk, those 3 together I could just listen to on repeat. And you can imagine my surprise when I saw they had done this arrangement. It's I was kind of Christmas music, and it really got into it. It's oh yeah, okay, I can get behind this. And I've been listening to it for the last couple years now. I'll be playing my SoundCloud likes on random, and this one will come up, and this is about probably the only Christmas song I'll listen to any time of the year. So I would highly recommend you go listen to F.O. Harkay. I'll link their SoundCloud and their Bandcamp. And actually, before those 3 EPs I mentioned, the A Nice Place, Bridge, and Soul Chunk, they actually had done some kind of video game soundtracks as well. I don't know if they're actually for video games or if they were just kind of mock OSTs, but those are also really good. Thus, the VGM connection there. Ho ho! So now, moving on at a nice clip, we've got our next song here. This one's not as Christmassy, it's more kind of wintry, but I wanted to include this because, it's another one that I really, really like and I've been listening to for years now. This is going to be Hypnagogic Illusion by Save State, a submission to the Battle of the Bits Winter Chip 12. That was Hypnagogic Illusion by Save State, done for the Battle of the Bits Winter Chip 12. And this lovely wintry tune was made using the VRC7 expansion chip for the Famicom, made using most likely a Fami tracker. So this is a .nsf export. And yes, it's been a good solid 6 years that I've been listening to this song. Probably even, I think maybe just a little longer? I don't know. It's just so weird. Time is so weird right now. It's is it long? Is it a short time? I don't know. But anyway, this track has just every time again, there's another one that I play on my SoundCloud likes randomly, and when it comes up, I'm oh yes, here it is. I love this one. And yeah, this somehow they just get those really those preset FM tones of the VRC7 just and uses them beautifully. I can't explain it. So yeah, Save State is primarily a chiptune is using the Fami tracker, so doing a lot of the NES chip tunes using like the expansion chips or just the base like 2803. And it's always a delight when when they have a new one up on SoundCloud, because again, that's where I listen to most of my music. And I just love it. I like it. I'll repost it, and then just like when I play through my randoms on SoundCloud on my likes, I always look forward to when a save state tune comes up, and I'll be linking their SoundCloud, and you can find them on Battle of the Bits. Like you can go there, find them, and like listen to all their entries on there, and there's a lot. But this song may not be Christmassy, but it is wintry, and like I said, I just wanted an excuse to include it. And I'm kind of doing that again, like with my birthday episode, just having an excuse to include songs that I've been wanting to play for a while. And here we go. And that's pretty much all I got for you on this episode, because I'm actually recording this in 1 hour, and I'm doing it the night before the episode comes out, so it's another last minute one. This is such fun doing it this way, isn't it? Just so much time, between my birthday and the expo, and then getting ready for Christmas and everything. I haven't really had much time to, get this ready. It's like I just had to throw this together really quick. So I hope you enjoyed these as much as I do, and I can definitely say next week's episode is going to have a lot more preparation. It's going to be all my the interviews I got from Sacramento Gaming Expo, and like I said, I got some really good ones in there, so I'm really looking forward to having that ready for you. But before that, we got Christmas, and I hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas. I know I'm going to be basically having a 3-day Christmas, one with my family, and then one with my wife's family, and then the one just to ourselves and our cats. So whatever permutation of multi-day or just single-day Christmas you have, or however you do it, I truly hope it's filled with joy and happiness. And for those of you that may be going through hard times, just know that many do care about you and are wishing you well this time of year. So now before we go, I got one last track for you. It's another remix, and this one is actually that song I mentioned earlier that I had entered alongside Crazy Goji to the Signcraft Christmas Expo. This is it. This is Jingle Jingle Jingle, Megadrive Winky Gonkers Arrange, which is a remix of Jingle 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 from Rudolph the Red-Nose Reindeer by yours truly. Merry Christmas, all.